As soon as I realized I was still alive inside my own body, I tried to tell myself I was dreaming, but the voices around my bed kept dragging me back to the truth. I heard Lena whisper, "He looks worse today," and the sound of her voice hit me like a knife. I wanted to answer her, to tell her I could hear everything, but my mouth wouldn't move. My chest wouldn't rise. I was locked inside myself. Then I heard a man speak. "You said the doctors don't think he'll wake up," he said. I knew that voice. Marcus. The last person I wanted near me. My stomach twisted even though my body didn't show it. Lena sighed softly. "They don't." Adrian said the swelling hasn't gone down. He thinks Elias is gone. Just, gone. Gone. She said it like I was a broken lamp she was ready to throw away. Marcus stepped closer. I could hear his shoes scrape the floor. "So when can we talk about us?" he asked. "I'm tired of waiting for a man who isn't even here." I screamed inside my skull, but nothing left my throat. "Not now," Lena whispered sharply. "Someone could walk in." "No one cares," Marcus replied. "If he wakes up, which he won't remember any of this." My mind felt like it was burning. I wanted to grab him by the throat. I wanted to ask Lena how she could do this. How she could stand beside my hospital bed and talk about her future with another man. Lena moved closer to me. I felt her breath near my ear. "We just need time," she whispered. "And when everything is settled, we'll be free." We. I couldn't breathe, but if I could have, that word alone would have taken the air from my lungs. Marcus chuckled. "Funny how life works," he said. "One accident and everything becomes easier." Their voices faded for a moment, maybe because they stepped away, but the echo stayed lodged in my skull. Accident. The word tasted wrong. The memory of screeching tires flashed in my head, the way the steering wheel locked, the way I felt the car sliding. Had someone done something to me? No. No, I couldn't think like that. Not yet. Lena spoke again. "We have to be patient. Once the doctor signs off, once everything is finalized, then we can move on." Marcus scoffed. "If it takes too long, I'm done hiding." I heard Lena exhale. "Please. Just wait a little longer." Their footsteps moved away. The door opened. Then closed. Silence settled again, but it wasn't peaceful. It was heavy and sharp. Somewhere at the edge of the room, I heard a faint voice, Adrian, the doctor, telling a nurse to monitor my vitals. But I didn't care about any of that. All I cared about was the truth I'd just heard. Lena didn't want me back. Marcus wanted me gone. I repeated those words again and again, holding them like the only strength I had left. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't open my eyes, but their betrayal lit something cold inside me. If I made it out alive, I would remember everything and choose my moment. I would not forgive. The first thing I felt was pain behind my eyes, like someone was scraping inside my skull. Then the lights hit me, bright and cold. I blinked, and a voice gasped beside me. "Elias? Elias, are you awake?" Lena's voice trembled like she'd been waiting for this moment. I knew better. I swallowed, my throat burning. "Where am I?" I whispered. She grabbed my hand too quickly. "You're in the hospital. You've been out for days." I was so scared. I stared at her fingers wrapped around mine. "Scared," I repeated slowly. Before she could answer, another voice cut in. "Good. His speech is coming back." Dr. Adrian Cole stepped closer, adjusting his glasses. "Elias, I'm Dr. Cole. You're recovering from a severe accident. We didn't know if you'd wake up." I nodded slightly. "I remember the crash." Dr. Cole looked relieved. "That's a good sign. Can you move your hands? Your legs?" I lifted my fingers, forcing them to twitch. "Barely." "That's normal," he said. "We'll run some tests." He checked the monitors. "You're lucky." Lucky. If only he knew. Lena sniffed loudly. "I stayed every night," she said. "I didn't leave your side." I looked at her again. Her eyes were wet, but her face had that same strange tightness I remembered from before. "Every night?" I asked. "Yes," she whispered. I was terrified. I let my face stay blank. "Thank you." She blinked, maybe surprised I didn't sound emotional. A soft voice came from the doorway. "Dr. Cole, his chart." A nurse walked in, Jenna. She handed him the clipboard but kept her eyes on Lena. It was a quick glance, but I caught it. It wasn't trust. It was suspicion. Dr. Cole turned to me. "You'll need rest. No stress, no heavy thinking." I almost laughed. I'll try. He smiled slightly and left the room with Jenna. But the nurse paused by my bed, checking something on the monitor. She whispered, "If you need anything, just ask," and her eyes flicked toward Lena again before she walked out. Lena exhaled loudly. Finally. I thought he'd never leave. You don't like him? I asked. She shrugged. He's fine. Just bossy. He saved my life, I said. She hesitated. Right. Yes. I'm grateful. Silence tightened the air between us. She kept touching my arm like she was performing a role. I decided to test her. How long was I out? I asked. Almost 10 days. She bit her lip dramatically. I thought I lost you. 10 days. 10 days she might have spent planning her future with another man. I forced my voice low. Were you alone all the time? Of course, she said instantly. Too instantly. Who else would be here? I didn't answer. She leaned closer. You're safe now. That's what matters. Safe. She had whispered the same word to Marcus beside my coma bed. My chest tightened with the memory. But I kept my voice even. I'm tired. She smiled, relieved to end the conversation. Rest. I'll be right outside. As soon as the door closed, I finally let my expression drop. I wasn't safe. Not even close. And I couldn't tell anyone what I'd heard. Not yet. I pretended to sleep with my eyes half closed, just enough for the room to blur. I heard Lena sigh heavily beside my bed, then her phone buzzed. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Stop calling, she hissed. I said I'll update you later. A pause. Then sharper, no, not now. He's awake more often. I can't risk it. My chest tightened, but I didn't move. I let my breathing stay slow and uneven. I said I'll handle it, she snapped quietly. Just give me time. The tone was nothing like the soft voice she used when I was conscious. She hung up quickly when the door clicked open. Hello? A familiar male voice said. Marcus. I wanted to sit up and throw something at him, but I kept still. He walked toward the bed with fake concern dripping from every step. How's he doing? He asked. Lena sighed, now pretending to be gentle again. Better. Adrian said he's responding well. Good, Marcus said, though his voice lacked even a hint of relief. Has he said anything? Does he remember anything? Lena froze for a second. I felt it, even without looking. No, she whispered. He's confused. He doesn't remember the night of the crash. Marcus exhaled like that was the best news he'd ever heard. Then we're fine. Lena cleared her throat. We're not talking about this here. I'm just checking, Marcus said. Relax. Relax. I wanted to laugh. The two of them were standing beside the man they tried to erase, talking like I was too stupid or broken to notice. Lena stepped closer to my bed. He's asleep, she whispered. No, he's pretending, Marcus muttered. Look at his hands. My heart jumped. My fingers had twitched. Lena leaned over me. Elias? You awake? I forced my eyes to flutter open slowly, as if waking from a heavy dream. What time is it? I muttered weakly. Lena quickly changed her expression into a sweet smile. Hey, you're up. She looked at Marcus. He didn't know you were here. Marcus stepped closer, forcing a warm tone. Just checking on you, man. Wanted to make sure you're okay. I stared at him. Thanks, I said, my voice hoarse. Didn't expect visitors. He chuckled nervously. Yeah, well, I care. Lena shot him a quick glare. He noticed. I noticed. Everyone noticed. I let my hand drop limply onto the bed. I feel tired. Weak. Lena put on her worried wife voice. Do you want water? I nodded but watched her closely. She avoided meeting my eyes. Marcus kept shifting his weight. When she stepped out to get the water, Marcus leaned closer. You're looking better, he said. Thanks, I replied. Just takes time. He swallowed. Yeah. Must be tough. Tough, I echoed. But I'll get stronger. His jaw tightened. Right. Lena returned with the cup, and their eyes met for half a second, too long to be innocent. I watched them both, silent, studying every twitch. Get some rest, Lena said softly. I nodded, pretending to fade into sleep again. But I wasn't resting. I was watching. And the cracks were finally showing. The door burst open before I could even blink. Elias. Myra's voice cut through the haze of the hospital room, sharp and urgent. Before I could respond, she was at my side, hands gripping my arms, pulling me into a tight hug. Her tears pressed against my shoulder, warm and real, unlike Lena's fake ones. I thought I lost you, she whispered, her voice shaking. I squeezed her back, pretending my body had more strength than it really did. I'm here, I croaked. I made it. She pulled back just enough to look at my face, her eyes scanning every inch like she could see inside me. Lena, she's here. I glanced at Lena, who was standing a few feet away with that perfect, forced smile plastered on her face. Yeah, I muttered, hating how my voice sounded weak. Myra's gaze snapped to Lena instantly, sharp and piercing. That smile, she muttered under her breath. It's not real. I swallowed. You think so? I know so, Myra said firmly, her eyes never leaving Lena. Why would she act like she cares when she's been here almost every day? That's fake. I've seen it before. I felt my chest tighten. Part of me wanted to speak, to confess everything I had heard while trapped inside my own body. But the words felt heavy, dangerous. I held them in. Lena noticed our exchange and cleared her throat. Myra, it's so good to see you. Elias is awake now, finally, she said, voice saccharine. Myra didn't answer. She just studied her, narrowed her eyes, and let silence fill the room. Lena shifted awkwardly. I need to step out for a moment, grab some water, she said, forcing the smile to stay. The moment the door closed behind Lena, Myra spun toward me. You don't trust her, do you? Her tone was sharp, demanding, but not unkind. I froze. I had kept my secret for days, but now, looking at her, I felt like I couldn't lie anymore. I heard her, I whispered. The words she said while I was in the coma. She was planning a future without me. With him. Myra's eyes went cold, her lips pressing into a thin line. I knew it. I just knew something was off. That's why I didn't like her from the start. Her hand tightened around mine, reassuring but firm. Elias, we'll figure this out. I'll help you uncover the truth. You're not alone. Tears threatened my eyes again, but this time they weren't from fear or betrayal, they were relief. Someone finally understood. Someone actually saw through the lies. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. I need help, I admitted. No, Myra said, her voice resolute. You don't just need help. You need to take control. And we're going to do it together. Step by step. But first, we watch, we wait, and we don't let them know we see everything. I exhaled slowly, a mix of fear and determination stirring inside me. For the first time since I woke, I felt like I had an ally I could trust completely. And just like that, the plan to uncover Lena's lies began. I woke that night in flashes, memories stabbing at me like shards of glass. The tires squealing. The steering wheel locking. Darkness swallowing everything. I could still feel the panic in my chest. Myra sat beside me on the edge of the bed, her hand on mine. Elias, she said softly, you've been quiet since Lena left. What's on your mind? I swallowed hard. The crash. I remember it. Everything. She frowned. What do you mean? The accident? Yes. The night it happened. I ran a shaky hand over my face. The brakes, they didn't respond. The steering, it jammed. I almost died. Myra's eyes widened. What? Are you saying it wasn't just an accident? I don't know, I admitted, my voice tight. It felt wrong. Too wrong. Like someone wanted me gone. She exhaled sharply. Then we need to check it. The car, the brakes, everything. Someone could have done something. I hesitated, the thought of Lena's voice whispering beside my coma bed crawling back into my mind. Who would do that? Myra's jaw tightened. I don't know. But we'll find out. We're not going to sit here and guess. That night, I called Ryan. My voice was barely steady. Ryan, can you help me? With checking the car. There was a pause, then his familiar tone, calm and reassuring. Of course, man. I'll be there in 10. Don't worry. We'll figure this out. When he arrived, he didn't waste time on small talk. Show me the car, he said, eyebrows furrowed. Tell me exactly what happened. I guided him through my recollection, trembling despite my effort to stay calm. I was driving, just like normal. Then the brakes, nothing. I tried the steering, it locked. I couldn't control it. And then, the crash. Ryan nodded slowly, taking it in. All right. Let's see what we're dealing with. He opened the hood, examined the brake lines, then muttered, "This doesn't look right." My heart lurched. "What do you mean?" He shook his head. "It's cut. Clean. Not worn, not frayed. Someone did this." I stared at the metal, my stomach twisting. Cut? Someone tried to kill me? Ryan's eyes met mine. "Looks that way, man. We need to be careful. And we need proof." I swallowed, my mind racing. Lena's voice in the coma. Marcus's presence. All of it clicked together in a sick puzzle. This wasn't just betrayal. This was calculated. Myra entered the garage silently, her expression grim. "We do this smart," she said. "No rash moves. But we uncover the truth. Whoever did this, they won't get away with it." I nodded, gripping the steering wheel like I was grounding myself. "You're right. We'll do it together. I won't be a victim. Not anymore." Ryan clapped a hand on my shoulder. "Good. Step 1, find evidence. Step 2, figure out who's behind it. Step 3, make sure they pay for this." I looked at them both, the weight of the memory heavy on my chest, but determination brighter than fear in my mind. This was no longer just about surviving. This was about justice. And I wasn't going to stop. That my phone buzzed, and I almost didn't want to look. But Ryan's name flashed on the screen. I opened the message, and my heart nearly stopped. Photos. The brake lines. Clean cuts. Not frayed. Not torn. Cut. I stared at the images, gripping the edge of the bed. My chest tightened, and my hands shook. "Clean, someone did this," I whispered, voice barely audible. Myra, sitting across from me, leaned over my shoulder. She squinted at the phone. "Those aren't accidents," she said, her voice flat, cold. "Not at all." I nodded slowly. I knew something was off, but seeing this, my fingers trembled. They wanted me gone. Myra's eyes darkened. Do you think Marcus did it?" I hesitated, swallowing hard. I think he might have. He had motive. Opportunity. And him. Myra crossed her arms. "Then the real question is, did Lena know?" The words hit me like ice. My stomach churned, my pulse pounding in my ears. I looked away, focusing on the cracked tile floor, pretending to consider. Inside, I already knew the answer. "She knew," I said quietly, almost to myself. "I heard her, in the hospital. Beside me." Myra's eyes sharpened. "I thought so. That's why she looked so perfect, so controlled around you. She's a liar, Elias. She pretended to care while planning everything behind your back." I ran my hands through my hair. "I don't know what to do yet. I'm not ready to confront her. Not ready for revenge. But I can't just stay blind." Ryan called moments later. "Elias, did you see the pics? Clean cuts. I don't even know how to describe it. Someone did this on purpose." "I saw," I said. "It confirms what I feared." My voice was low but steady. "Do you think Marcus acted alone?" "I don't know. But someone had to be helping him. Could Lena be involved?" I froze, gripping the phone tighter. I think she knows. I'm almost certain." Ryan's tone hardened. "Then we need to move carefully. Don't tip anyone off. Watch and wait. Gather proof." Myra leaned in again. "He's right. You can't rush. You need to survive first, Elias. Observe. Learn. And when the time is right, you act." I nodded slowly, swallowing the lump in my throat. "I can do that. I will. I need to understand everything first." Myra's hand brushed mine. "And you won't do it alone. We're in this together. Step by step. One truth at a time." I exhaled, the tension in my chest easing just slightly. "First the facts," I muttered. "Then, decisions." Ryan's voice came again, calm and firm. "Keep me updated. Take your time. But don't ignore anything, no matter how small. Every detail counts." "I won't," I promised, my eyes narrowing as I studied the photos again. "I'll watch. I'll wait. And when the moment comes, I'll know what to do." Myra nodded, her expression sharp and unwavering. "Good. Observation first. Revenge later, if needed. Survival always comes first." I gripped the phone tighter, my mind already spinning with plans, possibilities, and every subtle lie I'd seen from Lena. The truth was out there. and I would uncover it. The moment Lena stepped out, I let my body relax slightly, though my mind was still spinning. The door barely clicked shut when a soft voice whispered, "Mr. Elias." I turned my head slowly, squinting. Jenna, the nurse, stepped closer, glancing around like she was afraid someone might see her. It's private, I hope," she said. I nodded. "Yes. Come closer." Her hands fiddled with the edge of her uniform. I don't know if I should say this, but I can't stay silent any longer." I leaned forward, heart pounding. "What is it?" She swallowed, then whispered, "I overheard Lena. She argued with Marcus. About your insurance money." Every word landed like a hammer in my chest. Insurance money. My eyes widened. Money? My money? Jenna nodded quickly. Yes. She was angry because he wanted more, and she said it'll all be hers. All of it. I ran a hand through my hair, my pulse racing. That night, the crash, are you saying it's related? She hesitated, glancing at the door again. I saw her give him a key. Days before the accident. I didn't know why at the time, but now I'm afraid it's connected. A cold wave washed over me. Rage, sadness, disbelief, and shame twisted together in my chest. My hands clenched the sheets. A key. I repeated, my voice shaking. She planned this. Jenna nodded. I think she wanted you out of the way. I don't know all the details. But I know what I saw. I swallowed hard, forcing my breathing to slow. You're brave to tell me this. Most people would stay quiet. Her lips pressed into a thin line. I've seen enough lies in this hospital to last a lifetime. And I can't watch her get away with hurting you. Not when I know the truth. My chest tightened further. Thank you, Jenna. I won't forget this. Not your courage, not your honesty. You could have lost your job. She shook her head. I had to. I couldn't let her fool everyone. I've always sensed something was wrong. Now I know I was right. I ran my hand over my face, my head spinning. So, she planned it. Marcus, everything, the crash, it wasn't an accident. And she wanted to profit from my death. Jenna's eyes softened. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot to take in. But now you know. And now you can act, carefully. I nodded slowly, swallowing the mix of emotions. I need to be smart. I'm not ready to confront her. Not yet. But I will. And I'll make sure she doesn't get away with this. She stepped back, her gaze lingering on me for a moment. Just, be careful. Watch closely. And don't let anyone see that you know. I forced a small, determined smile. I won't. I'll remember your courage, Jenna. I promise you that. Her shoulders relaxed slightly, and she whispered, Good. That's all I ask. Just, survive. And the rest, we'll figure it out. As she left, closing the door quietly behind her, my chest burned with anger and determination. The truth was out. And now, I had to survive long enough to act that I ignored Lena's protests and checked myself out of the hospital earlier than she expected. She fluttered around me, adjusting my blanket, forcing that fake concern. Are you sure you're ready? She asked, voice dripping sweetness. I need rest at home, I said, keeping my tone calm. The hospital, it's too loud. Too many reminders. She smiled tightly, pressing my arm. Of course, I understand. You'll be safe at home. Safe. I laughed inside. Safe from her? Hardly. But I didn't argue. I nodded, and she leaned closer. Call me if you need anything. I will, I replied, keeping my voice even. As soon as she left the room, Myra appeared like a shadow. Ready? She asked, sliding into the driver's seat. I nodded. Let's go. The drive was quiet, my mind racing. Every detail Jenna had revealed, every word I'd heard during my coma, every photo Ryan sent, it all came together like pieces of a puzzle. I had to see Marcus for myself. I had to feel his arrogance firsthand. We pulled up outside his workplace. Myra parked a block away. Remember, she whispered, stay calm. Observe first. Don't let him know you've seen the truth. I exhaled slowly. I can do that. I walked toward the office, each step measured, controlled. Marcus looked up from his desk when I entered. His smile was casual, almost mocking. Elias, he said, voice smooth. I wasn't expecting you. I wanted to talk, I said, keeping my tone steady. Privately. He raised an eyebrow. Sure. Why not? Once we were alone, I studied him closely. The arrogance was there, yes, but so was the cruel satisfaction. You've been busy, I said lightly. Planning, I assume. He smirked. Planning? Come on, Elias. Lena deserves someone better. Someone who can. Someone better? I cut in, voice low but firm. Better than me? He shrugged, leaning back in his chair. Yes. She's outgrown you. Always has. A chill ran through me. The truth in his eyes was undeniable. He thought he'd won. He thought my life was nothing more than an obstacle cleared from his path. I see, I said, keeping my expression neutral. That's enlightening. His smirk widened. I like honesty. You? Not so much. I exhaled, forcing control over the anger burning in my chest. I could feel it rising, the temptation to shout, to punch, to make him feel the smallest fraction of the fear and betrayal I'd felt. But I didn't. No, I said finally. You're not worth it. Not yet. Not today. His eyebrows rose. You think you're walking away? I am, I said, voice calm. For now. Observing is more valuable than blind rage. He laughed softly, the sound cruel and empty. Smart. For once, you're smart. I turned, walking out of the office, feeling the weight of control settle over me like armor. Outside, Myra's eyes met mine. Well? She asked. He's arrogant, I said quietly, a bitter smile on my lips. But he's not my target yet. I'm not giving him the satisfaction. She nodded. Good. Patience, Elias. That's your weapon now. And for the first time in days, I felt a fraction of power. The storm hadn't hit yet, but I was ready. The house was quiet when Lena returned that night. I stayed in the shadows of the hallway, pretending to sleep in my bedroom, listening. Every creak of the floorboards made my chest tighten. Her phone buzzed almost immediately. She picked it up without looking at me. Marcus, she whispered, voice sharp and low. I froze, my heart pounding like a drum. I can't wait forever, she said, pacing. The insurance money? I need it now. You promised it would happen quickly. A pause. Then Marcus's voice, smooth and impatient, though I couldn't hear the words clearly. I know, Lena replied. But things have to stay careful. We can't get caught. My stomach twisted. Caught. I whispered to myself, clutching the doorframe. She stepped closer to the window, phone pressed to her ear. I thought the brakes would be enough, she muttered under her breath. The words hit me like ice water. I staggered back against the wall, gripping it for support. Brakes. Accident. My chest tightened, pain and betrayal mixing into something unbearable. She wanted me gone. I can't delay this, Marcus, she said more firmly. We have to act soon. Everything depends on it. I could barely breathe, my fingers trembling. Every lie she'd fed me, every tear she'd faked at my bedside, every smile that had made me feel safe, it was all a mask. I understand, Marcus replied, tone almost satisfied. I pressed myself deeper into the shadows, unable to move. All this time, all of it, my voice caught, choked by rage and grief. She laughed quietly, cruelly, a sound I'd never imagined coming from her. You were so easy to fool. So weak while I planned. I forced myself to take a step back, my fists clenching. Part of me wanted to storm in, scream, hit something. But I stayed silent, listening. Every word she spoke felt like a dagger twisting in my chest. You'll see, she said, voice low and dangerous. When it happens, it'll be perfect. No one will suspect a thing. I swallowed, my throat dry, but I kept myself hidden. I needed to absorb every detail, every tone, every hesitation. This was the final proof. When the call ended, she placed the phone down carefully, almost reverently, before letting out a soft sigh. Finally, she whispered. Everything is in place. My chest felt hollow. Betrayal had a taste worse than I could describe. I had loved her, trusted her, and she had plotted to take my life and my future. I leaned against the wall, closing my eyes briefly, letting the truth settle. No more denial. No more hope that she had changed. She wanted me gone. And now, I accepted it. Not with surrender, not with forgiveness, but with clarity. The person I had loved was gone. The life I thought I had was gone. And my next steps, my survival, my plan, my revenge, would be built on this truth. I finally opened my eyes, feeling something harden inside me. determination, observation, patience. I would survive. And I would see this through. The knock at the door startled me. I looked up to see a man in a dark suit, badge clipped to his belt. Detective Sloan, he said, voice firm but neutral. May I come in? I blinked, forcing calm. Yes, of course. Please, come in. He stepped inside, scanning the room quickly before settling into a chair. I understand there was an issue with your vehicle. Can you tell me what happened? I hesitated, carefully controlling my expression. Accident? I don't remember much. Everything happened so fast. I can't really recall the details. Detective Sloan leaned forward slightly. Do you recall anything unusual? Any problems with the brakes or steering? I shook my head slowly. No, nothing. I've been trying to remember, but it's all a blur. He studied me, eyes sharp. You're lucky to be alive. Do you have anyone who might have wanted to harm you? I forced a small, tired shrug. I really don't know. I can't think of anyone. Sloan nodded, making notes in his pad. All right. We may need to ask more questions later. I just want to ensure you're safe. I gave a faint smile. Thank you, Detective. I appreciate that. He stood, glancing around the room once more. We'll be in touch. Once he left, I exhaled, tension spilling out of me. Ryan's anonymous tip had worked. The detective was here, but I had managed to play innocent. Later that day, I sat in a quiet cafe, staring at my coffee, replaying Sloane's questions in my mind. My thoughts were interrupted by a soft, anxious voice. Elias. I looked up to see Mrs. Hale, Marcus's mother, hovering nervously beside my table. Mrs. Hale? I said cautiously, keeping my voice neutral. She sat without waiting for an invitation, hands clasped tightly. I overheard Marcus. He was bragging, speaking so casually. About getting rid of a problem. I froze, the words burning in my mind. Getting rid of? She shook her head, worried. Yes. I didn't understand at the time, but now. I fear he might be dangerous. Please, you must protect Lena. I had no idea she could be involved. I thought she was innocent. My chest tightened. I studied her carefully, the worry in her eyes genuine, blind to the truth. I'll do what I can, I said slowly, keeping my voice calm. She exhaled, almost shaking with relief. Thank you. Please, be careful. He's more dangerous than you realize. I nodded, absorbing every word. The web was starting to collapse. Marcus's arrogance, Lena's lies, Ryan's secret help, Sloane's investigation, Mrs. Hale's blind concern, it all intertwined into a fragile, crumbling structure. I took a slow sip of coffee, letting it settle. Observation first, action later. The pieces were falling into place, and I had to be smart. Every move counted now. Mrs. Hale lingered a moment longer, her hands tightening in a small, silent plea. Please, just keep her safe, she whispered. I gave a faint, reassuring nod. I'll be careful. As she left, I realized the circle of lies wasn't just collapsing, it was exposing itself. Each person, each secret, each misstep was bringing the truth closer. And soon, everyone would see it. I was scrolling through my phone when the news alert popped up, and my stomach dropped. Marcus Carter arrested. Evidence links him to tampering with Elias's vehicle. I leaned back in my chair, heart hammering. The words felt unreal. The phone rang almost immediately. I ignored it. Lena's name flashed across the screen. My fingers hovered for a moment, then I let it go to voicemail. I heard the chaos before I even left my apartment. Screaming. Running footsteps. The TV replayed security footage. Marcus being dragged into a police car, fists flailing, yelling Lena's name. Lena! Help me! She can't let this happen. I felt a cold satisfaction coil in my chest. Finally. He was losing control. Finally, he was facing consequences. My phone rang again. Lena. I glanced at it, then tossed it onto the couch. Her panic couldn't touch me. Her calls couldn't undo what had been done. Ryan texted. You see? We did it. Step 1 complete. I typed back slowly, yes. Observing works better than acting rashly. Myra appeared behind me, her arms crossed. You're not answering her? She asked quietly. I shook my head. Not yet. Let her feel a fraction of what he felt. She made choices too. The news continued, a chorus of chaos on screen. Police officers leading Marcus out, shouting instructions. Reporters crowding, cameras flashing. His face red, veins bulging. His arrogance shattered in seconds. I leaned forward, watching every detail. The first taste of justice. The first domino falling. And then came Lena, racing into the scene on the news feed, panicked. She pulled out her phone, dialing frantically.
Elias. Please. Answer me.
Help me. I swallowed, feeling a mix of triumph and cold detachment.
I let it ring.
Let it go unanswered. She had manipulated, lied, and planned. Now, she was exposed to the same chaos Marcus had faced. Myra's voice cut softly through the tension.
You're calm. That's good.
You've been waiting for this moment.
I exhaled slowly. I have.
But it's not my time yet. Just watching her scramble, it's enough for now. The TV showed Marcus, handcuffed, being shoved into the squad car.
You'll rot in jail, Lena.
You'll regret this, he shouted, voice raw with panic. Lena froze, phone clutched in her trembling hands, eyes wide as she realized Marcus couldn't fix anything. Her world was cracking. I felt a strange weight lift from my chest. Not vengeance, not yet, but clarity. The power shift had begun. The predator was now prey. I could feel the tide turning. The people who had controlled, manipulated, and lied were finally unraveling.
And I?
I was standing in the calm center, observing, calculating, waiting. Every step Lena and Marcus took now was under the lens of consequences they had chosen for themselves. I let the phone ring once more. Silence. And for the first time in weeks, I allowed myself a small, grim smile. Justice wasn't complete. But it had started. And I was ready to watch it unfold. The knock at the door startled me, though I had been expecting it. I opened the door to see Lena, hair disheveled, mascara streaked down her cheeks. She looked fragile, terrified, almost like a child. Elias, please, she whispered, voice trembling. I never meant for it to go that far. I didn't know what would happen. I stepped aside silently, letting her enter. She moved quickly, hands clasped, eyes pleading. Marcus forced me, she said, tears streaming. He said I had to. I had no choice. I didn't want to hurt you, Elias. I swear. I watched her carefully, the familiar weight of anger and betrayal settling in my chest. My throat tightened, but I kept my voice even. You expect me to believe that? Her lip trembled. Please, just listen. I interrupted softly, shaking my head. No. I remember, Lena. Every word you whispered beside my bed. Every plan. Every lie. I heard it all. Her eyes widened, pupils dilating. The color drained from her face. Why, what? I heard everything, I repeated, voice low but steady. Your fake tears, your whispers with Marcus, your plans for my death. All of it. She stumbled back, clutching the edge of the table for support. No. That can't be true. I took a step closer, keeping my tone calm, almost clinical. It is true. And now you're seeing the consequences. Not Marcus's consequences, yours. The truth is out, Lena. No one can undo it. Her hands shook, curling into fists. Elias, please? I cut her off gently, carefully. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to destroy you. You've already done that to yourself. You wanted me gone. You betrayed me. And now, you feel it. That fear you see in your eyes? That's your karma. She sank onto the couch, shoulders heaving, sobs racking her body. I didn't mean. I stood silently, letting the sound fill the room. Every lie, every betrayal, every whisper I had heard in my coma was replaying in my mind. I could crush her. I could make her feel the smallest fraction of what she made me feel. But I didn't. Instead, I simply said, I heard everything. Her face, pale and drained, was frozen in disbelief. She realized the truth. That look of fear, shame, and helplessness was punishment enough. No further words were necessary. I'm sorry, she whispered finally, almost inaudible. I exhaled slowly, letting the weight of the past months settle. Sorry doesn't fix anything, Lena. You'll have to live with the truth, just like everyone else now. She sank further, sobbing quietly. I turned away, walking to the window, letting her cries fill the room. For the first time in weeks, I felt a strange calm. I didn't seek revenge. I didn't need to. The truth, my patience, and her own actions were enough. Her karma had arrived.
And
I could finally begin to heal. The news was quiet but firm. Lena had been arrested. Marcus had turned on her, confessing everything to the authorities. I sat in my apartment, hands folded on my lap, watching her world collapse on the screen. I didn't feel triumph, not really. Just silence. She had wanted a future without me. She had plotted, lied, betrayed. And now, she would get it, in ways she hadn't imagined. Myra knocked gently, entering without waiting for an answer. "You okay?" she asked softly, eyes scanning my face.
I nodded slowly. I think so.
"Strange, but I feel free."
She smiled faintly.
"Good. You've been carrying so much. Now, it's time to breathe." I took a deep breath, letting it fill my lungs. Air that felt real, that didn't taste like hospital rooms or whispered lies.
"You're right.
I can finally start living again." Myra stepped closer, sitting beside me.
For now, you can stay with me. Heal.
"Take your time."
"I'd like that," I admitted.
"I'm not ready to be alone yet. Not after everything." She nodded, squeezing my shoulder gently. "You're not alone. Not anymore." The next day, my phone rang. My father's name flashed on the screen. I stared at it for a long moment, memories of past distance and neglect rising. Finally, I answered.
"Elias,"
he said cautiously, voice trembling slightly. I heard what happened. Are you okay?"
I exhaled slowly.
"I'm surviving. That's all I can say for now." I want to be there for you," he admitted. "If you'll let me." I studied him in silence, weighing the past against the present. "I'll give you a chance. But understand, it's not the same as before."
"I understand," he said softly. "I'll take what I can get."
I hung up, a strange mix of hope and fear swirling inside me. Broken, yes. Bruised, yes. But slowly, I could feel pieces of myself returning, ready to rebuild. Myra helped me move in with her that evening. Boxes stacked neatly in the corner, familiar warmth filling the apartment. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of home. We sat on the balcony later, the city stretching endlessly below us. The lights flickered, distant sounds drifting up, and for the first time, it felt normal to simply exist. I closed my eyes, breathing deeply. The weight of betrayal, nay death, lies, and manipulation felt distant, though the scars remained.
"I'm alive," I whispered to Myra.
"Really alive?" She smiled softly, quiet and understanding.
"Yes.
"And this time, it's for you." I nodded, feeling a flicker of determination spark inside me. "This time," I whispered again, louder, "I wake up for me." The wind brushed my face, cool and freeing, carrying away the remnants of fear and pain. I opened my eyes, seeing the city, the life, the possibilities. I was broken, yes. But I was also rebuilding. Slowly, piece by piece, moment by moment. And for the first time in a long time, I felt alive.